You remember I told you that my mum came. She said she wants to speak to me.
Yeah.
I was 18 years old. He's a bit of a lad. Used to do a few silly things. Used to make money, not in an Islamic way, I would say. And she goes, I want to go Hajj. I said, but Mum, Michael Jackson's concert's on. It's July. I've got 80 tickets. I'm going to make a lot of money. And she goes, son, I'm your mum. I want to go Hajj. So I said, a bit upset. I wasn't the most religious guy. Yeah, of course, I'm Muharram and everything. That's part of our culture and growing up. But it was just a thing for me at that time. I've got upstairs, sat down, thinking, bloody hell, I've bought these tickets for 25 quid. I'm going to get 100 quid on each ticket. Make a good 60, 70 grand here. I didn't have a company. I was just a kid. So anyway, I'm thinking, no. What am I going to do? So I thought, you know what? I have a relationship with our Imams. And I thought, I don't really know about our Imams. I don't know, only what I've heard from the member. So I've gone down to Hadri, which is our local community. And I've gone to a gentleman who's passed away now. May Allah bless his soul. Rerum Amir Laka, used to learn our library. I said, give me a big book on Ali ibn Abu Talib, our first Imam. But don't give me something complicated. So give me a very simplified book, but it's really good. It's called Ali the Magnificent.
Okay. Sick book.
So I got that book. Now, I'm a reader, right? So I'm one of these guys, even right now, I'll just read rubbish on the internet just to get knowledge. So I've gone on, and it's probably about 200, 250 pages, but that to me is like 3 days of reading. So, but I think I read it overnight, and like by the next day I was just so into it. So I closed the book, and I thought, all right, this guy ain't real. this can't be a real person, right? So I've gone to the Maulana, I think it was Maulana Qalbi Abbas, if I'm not wrong. And I've gone to him, all right, come, level with me, right? Like,
Who's this guy?
Right, we've just made a fictitious character up here. And he goes, have you lost your mind? Like, this is Ali ibn Abu Talib, because like all the Imams come from him. And I said, no, but he can't be real. Like, guy can't be like this. He goes, that's the beauty about him. That he can't be like this, but he is. You know? And I was like, wow. And I thought, you know what? If there's a person like him, and I wasn't an atheist, but I wasn't fully committed to my religion.
Would you say you had a belief in God at the time?
I did, always believed in God.
Okay.
Always believed in God. I always loved Imam al-Hussein al-Islam from when I was a young child, something my father, even though he came from a Sunni background and was probably more Sunni than Shia, he had instilled in me heavily. So basically I said to myself, there is a Allah. And my mum wants to go to his house. And I'm talking about an idiot and selling tickets for his concert.
Yeah.
So I gave him to my friend, and I thought, I ain't doing this. So now I needed money, because you can't go to Hajj with illicit money, right? So don't really want to say some of the stuff I did, but we used to do Bhangra dues and all that. It's all, we were growing up, we were trying to make money, we were in a very povertized situation. I said, I can't use anything that I got. So I said, all right, I need to take my mum to Hajj. What am I going to do? So people see me today and they see the clothes, they see the cars, they see the people I mix with, and that's all they see. It's a bit like a tree, right? You can grab the apple,
yeah,
but you cannot remember the person who put the seed there. You can't think that far back. So I thought, I need to get a job. So I've gone out looking for a job, and I found a job in a warehouse, offloading lorries. This is, 1 month before Ramzan. And getting paid very menial money. And
do you remember what the money was at the time?
Yeah, about 470 quid, 450 quid a month. Yeah. And don't forget, I got travel in that, got to eat from that.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this, and I'm going to work, and I'm going to take my mum to Hajj. And it was a blessing, because it was the biggest turn point in my life. Basically, I worked for a few months. My mum had a bit of money. We got money together, and I took my mum to Hajj in July. Bloody hot then, I'll tell you that. And back in 88, this was 1988,
No shade, no sprinklers, no...
The toilets were a
facilities.
hole in the ground in Arafat. It was not nice. It was difficult. It wasn't all marble around the Kaaba. There was a bit of gravel here and there. There was a road in front. But it was a wonderful journey for me. And all I say to viewers is, you got to go Umrah. You got to go. Even Umrah and Hajj. We are very comfortable in the UK or in the Western world, alhamdulillah, living in Africa, and there's many well-off people in Pakistan and India. And I understand there's difficulties, rotas and whatnot, but you've got to put it on your priority list because it was the most changing thing in my life. And I'm very proud because I sweated to take my mum to Hajj. It was my blood and my sweat. So taking my mum to Hajj, and I remember the Mulana saying to me, when you first see the Kaaba, anything you ask for, you'll be granted. And a lot of people would say, make me rich. Yeah. We were very poor, yeah? You got to remember, we really didn't have any money. People would say, make me rich. People would say, give me a beautiful wife, whatever they may have. And I know what I'd done in my life. So when I first looked at the Kaaba, I said, God, forgive my sins. I was only 18, didn't have that long to sin, but Imam Zain al-Abidin al-Islam says, give benefit to the person who's younger than you, for he would have sinned less, and give benefit to the person older than you, because he would have prayed more, and to someone who's your same age, give him the benefit of that. So it doesn't matter what age you are, you've sinned, and this is an opportunity to say, and they say Hajj is a rebirth.
Yeah.
So I said, God, forgive my sins. I said, Allah, please forgive my sins. And walked out, started crying, because I thought, if I've said to you, forgive my sins, then I can't go back to the same way of life, because that's a hypocrite, right? And the way the Quran speaks about hypocrites.
Yeah, you don't want to be one of them.
I don't want to be one of them. So I said, I need to change my life. And that was massive. So I did everything for my mum. A lot of people turned around and said, wow, what a son, this, that, the other. And, mums, they were like, take out sadaqah. We don't want nazar. People are going to have nazar on you. And, I didn't mention this earlier. At the age of 16, I'd run away from home. I'd lived on my own with my mates. My dad used to come looking for me. My mum used to come looking for me for about 8 or 9 months. My mum went to Ziyarat, first time, went to Abu Fadl, and she said, bring my son back to me. My mum came back to England at the airport. Everyone had got the wrong terminal. Fortunately, I'd read the right terminal. The whole group came out. I was the only person standing there. My mum just started crying. So anyway, so this, when I came back, I said, all right, this money has to go. This is haram money.
Yeah, I want to hear this bit, because we hear about forgiveness a lot, right? And we ask for forgiveness if you make a mistake. And you can be in a spiritually high place sometimes, and you feel very remorseful. But then when the reality hits, actually, I'm about to leave this spiritually high place, go back to my reality. It's quite difficult, right? To say, actually, I've got to change X, Y, and Z and make sure that I don't do the same things again. That's where I think a lot of people stumble and maybe waver a little bit.
So if you look at the Kaaba, that's in your eyesight, that's visionary. If you take it into your heart, that becomes part of you. So I can close up my eyes. It doesn't mean I can't see the Kaaba anymore. My heart sees it. You see with your, the Quranic ayat, it says those who are blind on earth will be blind in the hereafter. It's not talking about vision through your eyes. It's talking about your heart. Yeah. Your real vision is your heart. Yeah. That's where your emotions are. That's where your spirituality is. Your spirituality is not in your eyes. You see the shrine of Imam Ali saying you cry a bit. That doesn't mean you're not going to cry for him at any other place, right? I'm very attached to Imam Ali. As you know, I've got a grandson. Recently, they'd opened the workshop. I was holding, Muhammad Jawad is my grandson's name, I was holding him in my hand. He fell asleep. Everyone's, celebrating. And I looked at him, and the thought came in my head, how would Imam Islam take a baby like this and walk towards a river and then see him drenched in blood? And I start crying. And the guy next to me goes to me, Bye. Sukam Ross in Kushai.
yeah.
And I told him, and he started crying. And the guy next to him. And so this Jashan turned into a musiba almost, right? So I'm very attached to Imam Hussein in that way. And it's because I see with my heart. I don't see my eyes. It's not to do with your eyes. So the Kaaba was in my heart. God was in my heart. I found God. You know, I hadn't found Allah then until that. And then came back. I said, right, this has to go. So I took all my money. I went down to the local hospital, Children's Hospital, and everything I had in hard cash.
You gave it.
I gave it because all of it came, as far as I was concerned, some of it may came from legal means, but it was all this.
Sure.
I said, now I have to make money. And my mum told me a beautiful story. So I sat down and I said to my mum, I got to tell you something, right? We did this. I've given all that money away because it's haram. She goes, I'm very proud of you that you've come to that stage. She goes, but let me tell you a story. So she told me a beautiful story about Imam Ali alayhi salam, and I have to share this with everyone because patience is one of the greatest things that you can have. Ali ibn Abu Talib alayhi salam went to a local mosque, and there was a boy there, and he was looking after horses. And Imam Ali alayhi salam said to him, how much do you charge? And he said, 2 dinars an hour. He goes, will you look after my horse for 2 hours? The boy said, yeah. So Imam Ali alayhi salam's gone into the mosque. Now, instead of 2 hours, it took him 4.
Took him longer.
Because it's Ali ibn Abu Talib. Everyone wants to ask questions. He's come out. Horse is there. Boy's gone. Saddle's gone. You can't ride a horse without a saddle. So Imam Ali alayhi salam's like, oh. So I asked someone, is there a bazaar here? They said, yeah, just up there. So he's gone to the bazaar and he's seen his saddle.
Okay. On sale in the bazaar.
In the bazaar on sale. So he's gone. He hasn't told the guy who he is. He said, how much is the saddle? He said, 12 dinar. He bought the saddle. He goes, I'm Ali ibn Abu Talib. Obviously the guy said, no, I can't take money from you, whatever. But Imam Ali alayhi salam said, no, I want you to answer one question. Describe the boy. Did he sell you the saddle? And the man said, yes. And he goes, for how much? And he goes, 8 dinar. And Imam Ali alayhi salam looks to the skies and he says, Inna Allah masabrin, what is coming to you is coming to you. I had told him 2 dinars an hour. 2 hours would have been 4. 4 hours would have been 8. Had he had patience, he would have earned it through haqq. Because he didn't have patience and trust in Allah, he went and earned it through haram. But it was coming to him.
Amazing.
And when my mum said that to me, I was like, wow. I must have patience. I must strive in the right way. So obviously I went into business because this is what I was brought up with. I first got a job. I gave up my job. I then got a job with London Electricity Board, which is today's Curry. In those days, it was like Curry's. Saved up a bit of money. Started marketing. Me and my brother used to go driving in cars without heating and stuff with metal bars on the top, setting up market stalls in Brighton and Blackheath.
What were you selling on the markets?
Jeans and
So
t-shirts.
you kind of stuck with the garments that you...
That's what my parents did, yeah. So we did all of this sort of stuff. And, we did it. We tried to get by. And I lost a lot of more money than I made. Things went good.
How long did you do that? What sort of age were you at this point?
I struggled until the age of 26. Yeah. So from 18, we started marketing. Then we opened shops. And they went, Pete Tong, they went a bit silly and lost money. Then I got married in 1991. I was about 21 years old. And one of the things I'd say to the guys, look, the bond I have with my children because of my age, and at the age I had my children, is very strong. And I can have a lot of fun with them. And I have had a lot of fun with them. And, we go football matches, jump around together. Yeah. It's not like they got to look after their old man who's going to fall over down a set of stairs.
The first time I saw you all together, I was like, this dynamic, it's not weird, but it's like you kind of blend in with them with what they do. Because you dress like them or even, outdress them.
Because I'm not 70.
Yeah.
My kids are now, Shabazz, as you know, is your friend. He's 30-something years, 31 now, right? Yeah. No, he's 32. So he's going to be 32 this year. So I had my kids young. And obviously when you have a kid, a lot of boys who are married will think, how am I going to feed him? I have to feed. But I went to my dad and I said to my dad, you know what? Dad, you're going to be granddad, this, that. I said, don't worry, son, I'm here. But obviously, you don't want to rely on your dad, right?
Of course.
Anyway, so I had Shabazz. 2 years later on, I had the twins. So I went to my dad and I was crapping myself. I was like, Dad, I could just about manage with Shabs. And he said to me, if Allah brings someone into this world, he gives them their rosy as well. So I said, all right, we'll manage somehow. My wife's a soldier. She's very, she really did work hard to bring up the kids. My mum used to cook at the mosque. This is how we got by. My mum used to be, the ladies who cook at the mosque. My mum used to go there, cook for Ramzan, get paid her 40 quid, 50 quid, whatever. She used to make samosas at home. We used to help her do it. I can make samosas. I can make, it's not because I'm a good cook. It's just because I used to help my mum. And my brother can do the same. My wife was wonderful. She started helping my mum. And together we kind of got through times until 1996. So, now we're 25 years old.
Sure.
I'm going through life. And this is when I established my first successful business.
Okay.
So I tried for 7 years. It's a bit like the spider story. Keep trying again.
Keep trying again.
Don't just give up. It's easy to give up. A strong person doesn't give up. A strong person has a desire. He has an end. And I used to have these like pictures of Lambos and Ferraris on my wall as a kid, right? And I always said I'll buy one. And
which Lambo was
it? Was the Diablo.
Diablo.
Yeah, and it was the Testarossa.
Okay.
Right. So
red Testarossa.
Huh?
Red Testarossa or yellow?
Yeah, red. So anyway, even during those periods between 88 and 96, I still used to say I'm going to buy a Ferrari and I'm going to buy a Lamborghini. Yeah, my brother's going to get a Lambo and I'm going to get a Ferrari. One of the advantages I have in my life is my brother.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah, because
must have been nice to know that you've got someone that's going to take the journey with you.
If someone hits you, but if there's two of you, you kind of take the hit 50-50.
Yeah.
And it's something I say to people. There's one of you, and when you do that, people say there's two. It's not, it's 11. Having a companion like my brother gives you 10 extra people, not one. It doesn't make you 1 to 2. It makes you 1 to 11. It's an increase of 10 people. And we struggled together. We've fought battles together. Everything we've done is together. We lived together for years. I know there's Molanas now saying, you can't live together with this, that, the other. I think my family's bond and strength is the fact that we went through thick and thin together. And so, we worked hard. We did so many things. We've been to auctions. If I told you everything, we'd be here for about 4 hours. But we used to go to Metropolitan Police auctions, Customs Excise auctions. I bought curry sauce. I bought chili sauce that was expiring. I've bought alarm pads. We tried pens, pencils, erasers. We've tried everything. Yeah, we've grafted. We used to go shop to shop, etc., etc. Money doesn't come easy. Yeah. Like I said to you, you can look at my cars now and you'll only see the apple in the tree.
Nice and rosy.
Yeah, you ain't seen the seed and the flower and the watering of that seed to become a tree and looking after it and making sure it doesn't get sick. You can't see any of that. You just see the apple. So we went through all of this. 1996, we used to the extent we used to drive around, sweet shops.
Yeah.
So they're in a sweet shop all day, right? So we decided to do a video delivery service. So we used to go and give them like...
Video delivery service?
Yeah, so what we used to do was like 15 series... dramas, Pakistani dramas, Indian dramas. We used to go and drop them off, take £10,
okay,
go back, collect them the next week, because a sweet shop opens from 7 in the morning, 7 at night. When they're going to go video shop? But they need to entertain themselves. There was no Sky and all of this in those days. So
the old VHS.
Yeah, VHS. So we used to go around delivering, collecting, and new dramas, and this is it. So we used to have a little hub. We used to do all the recordings and stuff in Stratton near the mosque. It was on the hill. It's smashed up now. It's a very small place, probably about smaller than this, to be honest with you. And 1996, my brother comes to me and he goes, Mamz, mobile phones. And I said, Chico, mobile phones? My brother's name's Sujat, but we all call him Chico. I said, Chico, mobile phones. We can't afford a mobile phone. And he goes, no, we got to sell them. And I said, you've lost your mind. Like, how are we going to sell phones? Like, who buys phones? Like, only really rich.
Is this when this is just before, big phone with the aerial?
Yeah. No, they used to be handheld.
Like, that was before me, but my first memory is that big phone, the grey one with the big aerial.
So that was what they used to call ESN phones, and then you got IMEI phones, which is what you have today.
Yeah.
With the SIM card, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so he goes, no, it's going to do this, that, the other. So we thought, okay, you see the size of Vodafone now, right? Vodafone came to my shop with a flip chart. back in the day.
No way.
Because there was not a lot of people wanted to sell them. It was very hard.
That's amazing foresight though from your brother. At that
It was
point,
brilliant.
To
It
be
was brilliant,
so ahead
yeah.
of the game and
Yeah.
realize that, you know what?
Yeah.
This is the thing.
This is the thing. So actually, it was not 96, it was 94, because 96 was when we opened the business. 94, he got a dealership, and we managed to sell our first phone. And in those days, because it was new and it was so expensive, we got £1,500 in commission. And I was like, bloody hell, we're delivering cassettes for a fiver, it's 1,500 quid. So I said, right, we've got to try and do all of this.
Scale this.
And then suddenly, 95, what is now known as, I think they're called T-Mobile now, right? Or is it E?
Yeah, I think they've changed.
Previously T-Mobile, one-to-one, came out and said, right, we're going to be launching this PCN phone. Now, I know a lot about old phone systems. So ESN is 900 megahertz. GSM is 1800. PCN, which is what Orange and T-Mobile were on, 1900. So you had Vodafone, Cellnet, and T-Mobile, or one-to-one. Orange had not even launched then. And my brother goes, we've got to apply for this dealership. Right, everyone's going to want this phone. So when they first started, they did free calls 7 to 7. In those days, mobile phone calls were £1.50 a minute. They were ripping us off. So I said, all right. So we decided we'd go and start doing this. And what we did was, where we were, there was no walking through traffic, etc. So you remember I said to you, I was born on a road where I opened my first shop.
Yeah.
Where I had a shop. So we went and got a shop on Glen Eagle Road on the corner, and we decided to make it a phone shop. And it just went boom.
You one of the first phone shops in the area, presumably?
The first phone shop in Streatham, first phone shop in Tooting, or second after Car Farm Warehouse, first phone shop in Clapham Junction, then Car Farm Warehouse came, the first one in Wembley. Anyway, we opened this one in Tooting as well. We were one of the first. We opened this shop, and it just exploded. Then things developed, and by 96, 97, we'd opened 2 more shops. They'd introduced this whole new system of you get the phone free, you pay monthly, because at the beginning it was you pay £300 for the phone, and you get the SIM card, and then you get a bill. Now they'd changed the whole thing. It was monthly subscription. Things were moving rapidly, and suddenly when we got into mobile phones in 96 with our shop, I think penetration in the UK market was between 2 and 2.5%. By 2000, it was 97%.
Wow.
So we were there for the heyday. So we had a company called Mobile Phone House, and we had another company called World of Accessories. And this is the first time we made money. And we bought a house. We used to live in, rented accommodation until then. And so we bought a house, and we bought another house. And we didn't really look back. Made enough money to make my dream come true. Bought a Testarossa. So 1998, my brother went and bought me a Testarossa for my birthday.
Wow.
And that's the relationship we have. I mean, it's not normal that your brother goes and buys your childhood dream car for you as a birthday gift. But we don't have this concern about what he spends or what I spend, what I take or what. This is our strength. If my nephew's going on holiday, I'll try and upgrade him for the hotel. I won't even tell my brother. And my brother does the same for my kids. We see our own kids. You asked me, how many children do you have? Legally 4, but realistically 8. Because my 2 nieces and my 2 nephews are also my children. And if you ask my brother that question, he'll say the same thing, because he'll take my kid on holiday with him and he won't ask me for money, and I'll do the same with his kids. And that's just how we are. We don't see any difference.
A lot of your power, you'd say,
comes from that. It's the unity. It's the strength, togetherness. And, my wife, my sister-in-law, they're like sisters. They're like daughters to my mum. My mum, if you go to my mum and turn around and say, who do you love more, your son or your daughter-in-law? She'll say, my daughter.
Okay.
And you'd be like, wait a minute, but I asked your son or daughter-in-law. She will not refer to my wife or my sister-in-law as their daughter-in-law. She'll say my daughter. And she actually has more love for them than she has for us, which is wonderful.
It's great.
But yeah, we went through this whole thing. And then obviously everyone's bought phones now, right? And the market conditions changed. We were sentimentally attached
to that business.
Right, because this was our first big business. It's my baby.
Yeah.
People tell you, you got 8 shops, business to business sales center. You're opening another 6 shops. You're going to be this. You're going to sell out. Don't listen to some of these accounting firms, because you're only worth what people are going to pay you.
Yeah.
And obviously, suddenly our costs were very high, But our income started going lower. So just to give you an example, in those days when you used to connect a person, you'd make about £200 a person.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Yeah.
Then you sum all the accessories. Then you get a percentage of his bill.
Can I ask you a question? Is this around the time? Because here in Birmingham, what happened was there was a period where you could go and get a phone contract. I don't know the technicalities. You might be able to shed some light on this. You get the phone for free. You sign a contract with the service provider of, say, £90 a month.
Yeah.
Let's say you wanted the Matrix phone back in the Nokia, the one that you use in the or the banana phone.
Yeah, 8110.
And then you'd go at the end of the month to the shop and it'd give you a check towards your bill. So your contract is with EE or T-Mobile.
The reason being...
You pay £90, but then they give you like £60 back as a check. So it's only cost you 30 quid.
Yeah.
How did that work? Because the reason I ask is...
It's because the commission levels were
so many
high.
people got left in horrible situations when the companies would do that, go bust...
Yeah.
And then you've got somebody who's, can't afford, he's got 3 contracts, 4 contracts and £90 a month with Orange.
Yeah, so you weren't supposed to do that. But basically, the amount of commissions we would get, we could afford to do that.
Could afford to do that.
But, it's not sustainable. We never used to do stuff like that. So, but basically, we made loads of money. And then we weren't ready to liquidate or get rid of the business or sell it. And all the money we made started going back into, we started going into paying for the expenses of the business because the business started making a loss.
Yeah.
And then we tried to cut back, but it's not that easy. And in the end, we said, right, this has to go. So basically, I turned around and spoke to some people I knew, and they bought the shops, and people took over, and I got rid of my business. And I didn't end up with anything like I should have.
Still had the Ferrari?
No, I'd sold it. I sold it in 99. 2000 was, because believe me, a Testarossa is not like the Ferrari of today. It's not made for London roads. You need a degree to put it into reverse. And you need to drive it for 30 minutes once you start it, because otherwise the battery dies and you can't start it again.
Okay.
Thanks God they didn't have mobile phones. Me and my brother went to Blockbusters, which was about 5 minutes from our house, in the Ferrari. Thought we'd give it the large. Went to Blockbusters, this is how we grew up. I mean, I haven't told you the stories of me and my brother, and I'll try and touch on that a little bit. But basically, we went there, chose our DVD, and as you know, if you went into Blockbusters in those days, you go in and you say, I'm going to get this movie of 5 minutes, and you probably spend about 45 minutes in there. Came out, sat in the car, it wouldn't start. So we had to call our friends.
Okay.
And you had about 6 guys giving a Ferrari a jump start, push down the road. Yeah, thanks God there wasn't mobile phones, because it would have been viral, it would have been hilarious. So anyway, that was those days. So we sold that, we went through this hardship, and we ended up with very little money compared to what we should have had, right? But a fair amount of money. We did well. I'm not going to complain. We moved into a bigger house. We sold our 2 houses.
Were you all living together at this point still?
Yeah. Your
brother as well?
Yeah. This is 98 now. 98, 99. So in 98, my brother got married in 96. 98, he had his first child, which is my beloved niece. And we bought a house in Purley, 5-bedroom, big house, big garden, different type of lifestyle. 99, 2000, we realised business is hitting the thing, got rid of it, and we woke up one day with nothing to do.
What do you do next?
But quickly, just to mention sacrifice, how we got to this stage. Do you know when you're 18 and your mates ring you and they say, oh, let's go out to the movies or let's go out here? And me and my brother, yeah, let's go. Yeah. We used to have a cardboard box in our house, right? And it had a little hole in the top. And as we were going, we'd be like, bro, if we go, it's going to cost 40 quid. Yeah, if we go get DVD, £1, £2, popcorn, £1, we save 37 quid, right? Yeah, let's just tell them my mum's not well. Put the 40 quid in the box. Put the 40 quid in the box. Put the 20 quid in the box. You need a new pair of trainers? No, they'll last another 6 months. Put the 30 quid in a box.
That's crazy, man.
This is what both of us used to do.
It's insane though, because now, again, you go back to the point of people see the trainers you wear now, but they don't see the sacrifice that went into getting to the point to be able to buy those trainers.
Absolutely. So we went through all of this. So we had no youth. Between the ages of 18 and 21 when I got married, I didn't do anything. I got married, couldn't afford to take my wife on a honeymoon. I got married, my dad paid for the hotel, and we came home. That was it.
Done.
I didn't take my wife anywhere for 3 years. Couldn't afford to. But this is what we used to do. And I said to my wife, this is how we live, because we want to make money. And we're not going to be able to make money without money. There's a very famous saying, you won't make money You can't. Money makes money.
Yep.
And also another thing, I used to sit with people who are successful. And if you sit with 9 millionaires, you'll be the 10th.
Yep.
They're intelligent people. You learn a lot from what they have to say. So, you know, these sort of things. And we went through all that struggle. Yeah, we hardly went anywhere. We didn't do much. I can only remember going to the cinema maybe 4 or 5 times at that sort of period, over a period of like 5 or 6 years. And it was all about saving money, working, but not to the extent of saying turn the lights off and freezing at home.
Of
we had a good, and there are some people who go to an extreme,
Sure.
and that's stupidity. But this is about saving money when you know.
Where you can.
Where you can. And yeah, so that money was a deposit for our second property that we bought. Anyway, so in 98, we moved to this big house, bought this big house, moved there, 99 business, didn't look too good, started getting rid of things, recouped some money.
Got to figure out what to do next.
Sat down, I said to my brother, you know what? My nephew was born in 2000, Hamza, which is my brother's second eldest kid. And he brought with him a lot of blessings, lovely kid. I was going through a hard time then, and he was born on the 1st of Ramzan. And just, yeah, it just took a big burden off my shoulders, just my brother having a son, because I had 3. So, you know, got rid of the business, sitting there mid-2000s, I think it was. So my brother got nothing to do. He goes, you know what? We've never been on a good holiday.
Okay.
So I got family in Brazil. So I went with my cousin. I said, listen, we're all coming on a holiday. So we all went to Brazil.
All of you together?
All, the whole family. Went to Brazil. My cousin took us to a place called Ubatuba, which is between Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro. Is where Brazilians go to holiday and not foreigners. It's beautiful. We saw aquatic life. We went in the springs, the minerals, the Amazon, well, not the Amazon, but the forestry, and there's natural springs there and slides, and just one hell of a great time we had. And it was good because it freshened our mind. And you do need these things.
Of course.
You do need to go away and you need to spend time with your children.
New perspective, meet new people.
Yeah, so then we've come back and then we're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Coming towards the end of 2001, we bought a couple of properties, tried to develop them, and this is where we learned our skills in this. And I went to Dubai.
Okay.
Just to see what's going on. So I went to Brazil again to see what's going on. Nothing going on. Came back. Said, nah, I can't see a future there. 2002, came back, had nothing to do. Went to Ziyarat. Took my mum and my wife to Ziyarat last year. Saddam Hussein, went to Karbala. Came back, went to Dubai. Now, just before I went to Dubai, I went to Marbella.
Okay.
And when I went to Marbella, my friend had this flat. And there's all the yachts and marina and all of this. I've gone to Dubai. And
is this kind of timing wise? Is this pre-Dubai boom? Is this
pre-Dubai
boom?
So this is 2002.
Okay.
So Fairmont Hotel was new then. It was the best hotel there. Staying in the Fairmont Hotel. I went to look at Jumeirah Beach residence. Properties were, I don't know if I should tell people this, probably get a bit upset really. But a 3-bedroom villa was up for 699,000 dirhams. It's about 100 grand.
Yeah.
3-bedroom, apartment in Jumeirah Beach residence. Springs Villas, 3 bedrooms were 100 grand. And I thought, you know what? Let me buy a couple of places. Yeah. So, and it was good because it was pay 10%, which was 10 grand.
And then pay across.
Yeah. So I'm a high risk guy. Yeah. Right. And so when I was sitting in the hotel, I hear people, they're saying Dubai's going to boom. And so I found out about Jumeirah Beach residence. I started calling my friends. And there was some Arab guy sitting there, right? And he spoke good English. He's listening to me. And then he goes to me, oh, you're promoting my country, this, that. Yeah, but he must have been some high guy. And he goes, let me take you around. All right, yeah, nice. That'll be nice of you. He's coming in his Range Rover. And he's taking me to Dubai Marina. And it was being dug. A big hole.
There was nothing there?
Nothing there. It was a hole in the ground. And I said, what's this? And he goes, this is Dubai Marina. I said, what do you mean Dubai Marina? It's all going to be buildings.
JBR wasn't there.
Nothing. JBR was a desert. If you speak to my brother, he'll say to you, my brother took me to buy property in a tent. Yeah, that's what Nikhil was, by the way. So what happened was, he took me around. I looked at this marina and I closed my eyes and I saw Marbella. And I said, wait a minute, tax-free, crime-free, beautiful weather, nice people.
Safety.
You could drop your wallet here and someone run and give it to you. Marbella ain't like that, right? And I was like, Desert Dream. That's what our company was called.
Let's make it happen.
Call my brother.
Is that what you call the company?
Yeah.
Desert Dream.
Yeah. And that happened there. I said, Chica, we got to buy it. He goes, Mamz, my dad was like, no, it's Arabs. No, you don't. Right, I've gone to the Springs launch the next day to buy 2 villas, bought 8. I got a bit, it was all like a cow market, yeah? And everyone was like, I want 2, I want 3. And I just went like, you know what, I can't be bothered with this. You know how we are. And I said, 8 villas. And so the guy just grabbed me to the front of the queue and I just gave him a check for £80,000 equivalent. And I bought these villas. I've come out of there and I thought, sugar, what have I done? I've just got carried away here. Going back, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to open an office. And now I'm starting thinking,
I'm going to explain this.
Yeah, this was like jumping in a pool and then thinking, can I swim?
Yeah.
And I was like, how am I going to pay for the rest of these, right?
Yeah.
I'm going back. I thought, how am I going to tell my dad? Because he's going to go ballistic, yeah? And how am I going to tell my brother? Because he's going to say, Mamz, I send you to have a look out there, not set up. Going back, and I've gone to where I was staying at the hotel. And then I've called a guy, so I need to rent a villa. Because I thought, right, if I go back to London, I'm getting killed. So it's better I stay here for a little while. So I got a villa. I said to my brother, I'm going to set up an office here. We're going to do business here. It's really good for business. Things are going well here. Things will be really good. Can you send me 100 grand? He's like, bro, you already had 100 grand when you went out there. I said, yeah, kind of, it's a bit more expensive. And because I had to, the money had gone into the villas.
Yeah.
Anyway, touch wood, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen.
Alhamdulillah.
3 months down the line, these villas had doubled in price.
Wow.
So they're now worth 1.4 million dirhams.
And you haven't even paid for them fully,
I've
right?
only paid 70,000 dirhams per villa.
Wow.
Right, so that's 100 grand profit per villa. So I sold all 8.
As you would.
Made 800 grand. Said, I'm a non-tax resident. No, I ain't going back to England if it's rolling like this, right? Called my brother. I said, bro.
Was the family still in the UK at this time?
Yeah, everyone was here.
Just you?
Yeah, just me. So I said, bro, I'm going to fly back. I came back here. I said, Chico, made 800 grand. He goes, don't talk crap. I said, this is how it happened. He goes, oh my God. So I came out. My brother came out. I found the kill. I found Jumeirah Beach residence. And I just went ballistic. And fortunately, everything went up in price. We made loads of money. Then my friend there said, you can't do this. You're trading. You need to open a company. Help me open a real estate company. Next thing we know is 2004, 2005, we've established our company. 2006, we decided to go into property development, got Desert Dream LLC opened. 2007, boom, bang, everything's gone nuts. 2008, massive launch, 50-story building. Tried to justify bringing over a pop star, Enrique, by saying I'm going to recite Quran and we don't have alcohol, which is absolute rubbish because it's haram. So,
You called him over for a launch, for an event?
Yeah, we called him over for an event with Ian Wright was the MC and Elisa, who was the winner of the Arab MTV Awards, was the Arab act. And we have a guy called Raghav. You people might remember him. He used to sing Indian English.
Angel Eyes.
Angel Eyes, that's the guy. Anyway, I tried to justify saying Din Dunya. What I did not realize, there's no Din Dunya. There's Din, that's it. You don't go against Allah's laws. Anyway, I tried to justify it. So in my speech, I said, I recite Surah Al-Quran. Allah taught man what he knew. No, now we're living in 50-story buildings when we were cavemen, trying to justify everything. So, yeah, I'm a good person. Yeah. I mentioned Allah. And I think I upset God. I really think I upset him because we're flying high 2008. Everyone's talking about us. We're the 3rd largest private developers in the country.
Wow.
Me and my brother walking down the road and people are pointing to us saying, and I know what they're saying, those brothers, they own Desert Dream. It'd be somewhere, you'd go somewhere, and then after you've had a conversation, you'd give them your business card, Desert Dream, and then 10 minutes later on, you'd get a phone call saying, bro, you own Desert Dream. Yeah. Because it was just like...
Crazy.
It was massive. We billboards everywhere, taxis. I don't know if you've ever seen our advertising campaigns there, but we looked like a government-owned company because we had everything unlocked. Wadi was sponsored by us.
Wow.
Back of Jumeirah magazine, the airport, all the taxis, all the shopping malls. Everywhere you went, you only saw our name.
Who was heading up the strategy for all this? Who came up with all the ideas?
I'm very good at PR. It was all me. And the way I did the taxis was I came here and, it said, what's white and red all over? And it was the taxis here with the Evening Standard advert. And I thought, my God, they don't have adverts on taxis over there. So I went to Dubai, Al Futtaim on all the taxis. And Omar was one of my neighbours in one of my warehouse places. That's his son, big family. Went to him, said, oh, you guys don't earn money from advertising. Give it to me, I'll do it. And he goes, how much are you going to pay me? And I said, all right, give me all your taxis. I'll do all the printing, 1 million dirhams. He goes, oh, okay, that's good. Not realizing how much it was worth, right?
Yeah.
So I made him sign a 2-year contract.
Yeah.
Did it, put all this on, bang. We're everywhere. You come out the airport, all you see is our... That same contract got sold for 14 million 2 years afterwards.
Wow.
Right now, it'd probably be about 50 million dirhams. And Omar turned around and said to me, "What's more dangerous than an Afghani with an AK-47?" I said, "What?" He said, "A good drive with a calculator." He goes, "'Cause you conned me proper." He goes, "You gave me 1 million dirhams." He goes, "You proper." I said, "Yeah, but you would never have done this if it wasn't for me."
Of course.
So we were everywhere. It was just like we had 3 big billboards on Sheikh Zayed Road. One of them was about the size of 1.5 football pitches, right in front of my kids' school, Wellington School. So all the kids would come. Everyone would know us. I had 2-digit number plates, living their life, everything.
At this point, the whole family's now in Dubai.
Everyone's moved to Dubai.
Fine.
We're living their life. Everything's hunky dory. You know, if I want clothing, they come to my house with a rail. I don't go to the shop. Yeah. It was that sort of lifestyle. I was top 50 houses. Everything's wonderful. When they did this stupid haram thing.
The concert.
Yeah, that was August 2008.
Okay.
October the 5th, we got Cityscape, massive exhibition. Wake up in the morning, ready to sell, massive stand. Headline, Lehman Brothers collapses. Exhibition started, and not one person wanted to buy, everyone wanted to sell. Whole of Dubai collapses, we crash. The bigger you are, the harder you fall.
Sure.
We went through hell, hardship, customers disappeared, banks pulled out on us. We were left in limbo. We had no backing. Others had governmental backing.
Yeah.
They could ride the storm. We were not in a position to do that. We were really stuck. We really ended up in a problem. A lot of people let us down. A lot of people played games with us. Dubai, there's no relationships in that country. There's no friendships. There's no bonds. It's all about money.
There's a lot of sharks.
Yeah. Anybody you meet in Dubai is never your friend. They're just there because you got money and they want money. They're only there for business. They're only there to make money. And they got no morals. So I had lots of checks from people who had bought properties and given me post-dated checks. And I said, so the law in Dubai was, if I bank their check, they'll go to jail, right?
Yeah.
Because it's a criminal offence.
Yeah.
And I said, they're not criminals. They bought a property hoping to be able to pay for it, whatever they're saying, and sell it, make money. They're businessmen.
Yeah.
They're trying to trade. Now, it's possible that things have gone wrong. So I called every single person. I said, come in. I will keep your check for a record, but I'm going to rip it because once it's ripped, I can't bank it. So you can sleep in peace. I will not bank your check. You're not a thief. You've not tried to defraud me.
That's mad. How much did you stand to lose from that?
Well, literally my building. But I will not be able to sleep at night knowing that I put a guy who was trying to buy a property and sell it in jail away from his children. Because that's just hell. That's just going to hell. So I ripped up every single check in front of every single customer and said to him, don't worry. I will never do that to you. But people didn't do that with us. And we had to find our way out of it. We had to pay. We had to struggle. And we ended up pretty much everything stuck in Dubai. Can't get no money out. I came back to England because I was just getting very frustrated. I was very upset. People were throwing threats left, right, and center. People that we used to sit like this with, right? You know, who would say, you're my brother and my family. Yeah, but absolute dogs. But anyway, so I came back here because everything was in my name. I had to protect myself. And we rode that storm. And, you know, it was very difficult.
Did you still have any property business or anything going on here in the background? Did you still have your...
We had nothing here.
Nothing here.
Nothing. I went for a state of depression. Got to give it to I've got a very close friend, Mohsin Walji. I'm not sure if you met him. He used to come round and he helped me a lot. My cousin Shilubai, who I said to you earlier, well, I didn't, not in the podcast, but when it comes to the smoking, when he passed away, I wanted to get off smoking because he used to give me a lot of strength and say to me, you're a very smart kid and you know, look at where you got to. Don't forget, we were on front page of magazines. We were everywhere. It was just like the biggest buzz in the world, right? I've lived the highest level of life.
How is that though? I mean, wow, it's like...
The who's who had been in my office. West Ham football team, Liverpool football team,
How do you go from being up there to it all crashing and still keeping yourself together in some way, shape or form? I know you suffered from depression, you had some challenges.
That's where you started from. You were never up there in the beginning. You were always at the bottom, right? You climbed up a ladder, you fell. And this is why I mentioned my cousin Shilubai. he said something to me which was really strong. He said, and it's a very famous saying actually. He said, you've not lost if you fall down. You've lost if you refuse to stand back up.
Yeah.
And I think it was things like that helped me a lot. There's another person in our community. He's just remarkably, 66 years old, I think he is. He just ran the half marathon. Wow. And that was after he had a knee operation. And he did it in 3.5 hours at Abbas Punjwani. I remember seeing him in the mosque and he said to me, how are you? And I said, he goes, Mamz, don't worry. You done it once, you do it again. And it's that strength for outside people.
So that community, look, started with your brother. But having that community, having those people around you.
Amazing. I mean, while I was in Dubai, I used to come back here for Muharram. It was either Karbala or here. I could not stay anywhere else. I miss this community. The one thing why people say to me, why don't you move back to Dubai? You know everything. You can make loads of money there. Money's not the, do and die of everything. Yeah. This community, living without this community will kill me. It's part of me. It's who I am. It's what taught me my religion, my ethics, my morals. But I'm successful because of this community.
They stuck with you as well. But they helped you through it, right?
They were there. Okay, there were some stupid people.
Of course.
You're going to get that. They think it's funny.
Of course.
But listen, at the end of the day, whatever they think doesn't really matter, right? Because what people think of you is their opinion. What you are is your character. So we fought the storm. We went through hardship. We lived that, not as bad a life, but we went back down a few steps.
Of course.
And some people will say, oh, it's embarrassing. Well, you got to be embarrassed of. No one's given you the money. You did it yourself.
You made it.
You lost it. So what? What's embarrassing about
most
that?
people that comment on it haven't made it in the first place. They haven't got the ability to make it in the first place.
And those who have made it, and they say, oh, it must be embarrassing. Well, at the end of the day, good luck to you, bro. Because that's the way you think. But we fought our way through it. And as you know, we now, alhamdulillah, 10 years on, we're back shouting, screaming, and being where we are.
When I had the idea to put this production podcast together, it was because I wanted to bring people true, real stories from real men who are relatable. And I faced a lot of criticism from a lot of people. Oh, what are you doing here, bro? You can just chill, What podcast, social media, your age, just be quiet, retire off and, enjoy life. This segment and the previous segment we've done, I've taken so much from this. I don't care if anybody at home resonates with it, sees, I'm sure you do. But so much of what you said, it hits differently. So whether or not, like you said, the podcast has success, not success, just the mere fact, honestly, and I'm not saying this, I'm not saying it to anybody else. The mere fact that I've had to have this conversation with you, I've got the chance to have this conversation with you and just understand and learn from your experiences, what you went through, how you approached it, invaluable. I'm lost for words, honestly. I can't thank you enough. So I just want people to be able to hear this and be inspired by it.
You're saying that some of the stuff I've told you has inspired you or give you some sort of look into life.
These lot sitting here will be nodding along. There's so many things you've said that I could literally just place from your life and put into mine.
While I was in Dubai, everything was about trying to be a billionaire, yeah? I'd already been a millionaire and I'd been a multi-millionaire. I wanted to be a billionaire now because money's a disease, it's sickness. I've learned not to have that anymore, but at that time I was like that. And a couple of years before that, I was walking through the Gold Souk, and down the side of the Gold Souk, there's this tea places, and the Yemenis sit there, the old Arabs, the Emiratis. And the way we nurtured, an old man dropped his stick. I've obviously picked up his stick. He started speaking to me Arabic. I said, Uncle, I don't speak Arabic. Baba matakalami Arabi. And he started speaking Urdu with the Arabic accent. And he goes, oh, you got good manners. And I said, where are you from? I said, England. He goes, oh, Jeep, this, that, the other, like, a guy from England's like this. And then, he gave him his walking stick. He said, sit down, have a cup of tea, ask me a few questions. Where's your office? I told him. And then I was walking. He goes, you talk to talk, but you don't walk the walk. And I said, what are you talking about? He goes, these sideburns and sunglasses, spiky hair, fashion, but your ethics are better than ours because you picked up my stick. I had no idea who this guy was, right? Anyway, a couple of months later, phone call, because I'd given him my card. He goes, oh, son, I'm near your office.
Gonna pop
Shall
in.
I come in and have a cup of tea with you? I said, Baba, come, say some prayers for me. Allah will give me barakat.
Yeah.
Now, I had a massive 7,500 square foot office, state of the art. One of the things I never ever did was, in that office, my chair was a throne. I never sat in that chair. These are ethics we're taught. I never sat in that chair in front of a religious scholar or an elder.
Okay.
So as he's walked into my office, I've got off my chair, gone and sat on my sofa, and he loved my ethics. Anyway, that's how I met him. About a year later, he's come in the office. I'm sitting there like this, stressed out. He goes, what's wrong?
What's wrong?
I said, see, about 2 years ago, I was about to buy these 10 plots of land, and they were 10 million dirhams each. I said, and all I had to do was pay 10 million dirhams because it was 1 million dirham deposit. And as I was giving the check, I pulled my hand away. And I said, no, I'm not buying them. He goes, well, why are you frustrated? I said, they're worth 90 million dirhams each. Now, it's only been a year and a half. I said, I could have made 800 million dirhams. That's $200 million. And he goes to me, go and pray 2 rakat namaz of shukr. I said, you're a madman. I said, well, what are you talking about? And he goes, what does your mum do when she prays? What's the first prayer she says? I said, my health, my safety, and my her grandkids' safety. Yeah. What about your dad? I said, same thing. He goes, so what had you done with that money? I said, oh, I'd bought gay, and I'd bought this, and I'd bought that. And he goes, and what if your death was written in that? So he goes, your mum's prayers have stopped you from making that money, and this is Allah's mercy, go and pray 2 rakat namaz. And I was like, like seriously, like, I'm, you know? Anyway, made me pray myself 2 rakat shukr. Then I sat down, and he goes, you're still not convinced, are you? I said, no, Bob. He goes, what do you want in this world? I said, I want to be a billionaire. He goes, all right. So this guy was one of the richest guys in Dubai, by the way. Okay. Conglomerate family.
Yeah.
To the extent, my friend, he used to work in the army, he was a major. He used to always walk into my office. When he walked into my office and this uncle was sitting there, Juma uncle, he walked out of my office and he goes, what is he doing in your office? And I said, some old geezer, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
And he goes to me, he's not some old geezer. This guy built Dubai. He goes, this is this guy. And I was like, what? So I went to him and said, uncle, why didn't you tell me? And he goes, because you never asked. And does it matter? I said, no. Anyway, so this guy called his assistant up and he said, log into the computer. Show him my bank balance. I'd never seen 9 zeros in a bank account. And then I looked, it said USD, which even crapped me up even more because I thought it was dirhams, right? This man had like, I can't even remember, it was $2 or $3 billion cash. And then he's logged out. He said, guy, clear the cookies. He goes, you know, I got no boys. I said, yeah, I've heard the stories. He goes, so you know, my sons died in a car accident. And then the other one died in a boating accident. I said, yeah. So he goes, you know, it broke my heart. Killed me. My life had no meaning. Because I have a daughter, a wonderful son-in-law, and he's like my son, but he's not my son.
Not my son.
He goes, and you want billions, right? I said, yeah. He goes, right, I'll make a deal with you right now. That money in that bank, I'll give it to you. Give me 1 minute with my son. I said, sorry? He said, you give me 1 minute so I can hear and feel my son's heartbeat, and I'll give you all this money. Because your dream is full. I said, but I can't do that.
Can't do that.
How can I do that? I'm not God. I can't do that. He goes, so I'm willing to spend 2 billion to spend a minute with my son. Because that's what I'm willing to pay. He goes, every minute you spend with your son's worth 2 billion, son. He goes, what are you doing in your office? Go home. And he just got up and left. And I was like,
wow.
This man just told me reality. I am the richest man in the world. I got 4 boys. I spend hours with them. I'm worth hundreds and hundreds of billions. This guy's poor. I'm rich.
Yeah, yeah.
What I have, he wants. But he can't get it.
Can't have it.
I could maybe get what he has, but he can never get what I have. I'm loaded. Do you know, I was one of these guys who never went home. We used to work till 9 o'clock at night, whatever. I've just packed up. I've gone home 4:30. My wife's gobsmacked. Like, what's going on? What's wrong?
Happened?
She was like, what's wrong?
Yeah, yeah.
I said, no, I want to go swimming with the kids. She goes, you what? I went swimming with the kids. My dad's at home. He goes, what are you doing at home? I said, I want to go swimming with the kids. He goes, no, something's wrong. What have you done? Yeah, I said, nothing, Dad. Next day, came home at 2. Next day, 1 o'clock. My dad said, I need to speak to you. Mum would please tell me what's wrong. I'm coming to the office. I said, all right, Dad, I'm going to level with you. And I told him the story. And my dad literally had tears in his eyes, And he said, I want to meet this guy and just thank him because he's told you what your life is worth. Yeah. And I neglected my 3 elder children trying to make money.
Of course.
Thinking that diamonds will make them happy and gold and cars and Versace jackets. Bro, they're 9 years old. They don't even know what Versace is. What am I doing? I'm making myself happy. Yeah. That's me saying, oh yeah, my kid's wearing a Versace jacket.
But that's a powerful moment of honesty though, Uncle, because a lot of people will probably be in that same mode where we say it's for the kids. We say it's for the family.
They don't know what it is.
When you sit and you think about it, it's not. It's for you.
But reality, like thinking, these things would at the best toys. No, all they want is time. My youngest one, Saj, I spent time with him. My nephew, Akil, I spent time with him because they're young. And I've got thousands of videos, which I used to look at every day until my grandchildren were born.
And now the grandchildren taken over.
Of course, because now you've got real life. Of course. But I was missing those days because I spent so much time. I can remember them. Those memories are there. Can I remember when I did a sale of this property and made that money? No, that's not fond. That's just part of daily life. Money's not everything. Don't go after money. Have quality in life. Yes, you need money. Earn your bread. Give your wife and children a good livelihood. Do everything you can. Take them on nice holidays. Don't be a miser with your family, though. If you're earning money, who are you earning it for? Yep. If you're going to earn your money and leave it in the bank, bro, you're only going to pay 40% inheritance tax on it. Take your kids out. Go. Take them on top holidays. Go ziyarat. And, this is another thing. Ziyarat was an instrumental part of my life. Every year we have to go. This is why my children are like they are, because they have a connection. And we'll come to that later. But spend money on your family and spend time with your family because you cannot buy time. Yes? Man will only know the value of money when he knows he cannot eat it. It will not feed him. Yeah? A tomato in a farm has more value than money because you can't eat money and you can eat the tomato. You understand? People need to understand these things. And I've gone through a journey in life where I've met people, fortunately, who changed my mindset, who helped me see this. I was blind as a bat. I couldn't see the value of having children. To me, they were children. You bring them up, you go home, you play with them, you run in the park. You have a bit of fun. You get your joy from them. What about their joy? What about what they want? Have you ever sat down with your kid and said, do you want a Versace jacket or do you want daddy to take you to the ice cream shop? Because damn me, if a kid says to you, no, dad, I want a Versace jacket, he's going to say, what's a Versace jacket? You're teaching him that. You're putting that on him. You're saying, oh yeah, look, this is a Lamborghini and this is a Mini. You're teaching him all these materialistic values. Then you're going to make it pretentious and ostentatious, right? He's going to be a show-off or he's going to be one who desires things he can't afford. You nurture him. And that lesson taught me life ain't about money. Life is about quality. If you do not have love and iman, you are worth nothing. And I am worth the most in the world. I'm one of the richest guys you'll ever come across because I have both. I have a lovely family, Mashallah. Right? And it doesn't matter. Like you said to me, how do you drop from here to here? You don't. Because what do you miss?
The value remained, right?
What do you miss?
Where it was.
You tell me something. I drive to Birmingham in a Lambo, Ferrari, Rolls Royce. I drive to Birmingham in a Micra. Do I get to Birmingham?
Yeah, you get here.
Do I remember the journey? No. It's like getting on a flight. You go first class or you go economy Z class, cheapest possible ticket. When you get to your destination, you might be a bit tired. You wake up the following morning. Does the guy who went on first class turn around and say, yeah, well, I'm in a better mode. I'm a better person. I'm great. No, they both forgotten the journey. You're doing what you're doing. Yeah. So those are just things that you program your mind with. Money's material. Don't make your children materialistic because you will regret it. Because you know what? I've experienced life where 1 minute you can have money, and I'm not joking to you, overnight, it was disaster.
It's gone.
You wake up in the morning and an institution has gone bankrupt and the whole of Dubai collapses in minutes. I saw that happen in front of my eyes. So you can have money 1 minute and you won't the next. If you've brought your kids up on thirsting to be able to go and spend money left, right and center, when you haven't got money, what are they going to do? They're going to start stealing. They're going to start doing wrong things because they can't lose.
Without it.
And they may not have the strength to avoid embarrassment or what people consider. I didn't consider it an embarrassment. I still had my family with me. I still had 4 boys. Listen, there's people out there that have all the money in the world. Kid gets sick. Imam Ali, beautiful saying again. He says, I wonder at man who will give all his health to gain all his wealth, and then towards the end of his life will give all his wealth to get his health back. What if your kid was sick? Would you trade that? Would you say, oh no, yeah, God made my kid sick, make me a billionaire? Never in a million years, because you're not a father if you did that. You're an animal. So don't look at those things. And these are lessons in life. These are things. I'm 56 years old. I've been through that journey. I'm telling you stuff that you may not even go through that journey. You may not even come across a person like that to tell you that. Sure. But he told me that. And because he told me that, I have to share that. It's the one story I share with everyone because it gave me what life means. Life don't mean about making money. Life is about spending time.
I don't know what to say, Uncle. I'm genuinely grateful that you've come and shared that here with us, and for everybody watching at home as well. I'm gonna ask that we do this one more time.
My pleasure. At your service.
And yeah, so if you're watching at home, there's gonna be one more episode where we go into the final chapter. Not the final chapter, sorry. The latest chapter.
Alhamdulillah.
Of Mamz Khan. As always, if you enjoyed the content, please like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that. I don't care. We'll see you next time.